Welcome back to That Handicapping Show. I'm Clara Novak, joined by Frank Angst. The Handicapping Show, of course, sponsored by RacingToday.com. Today we're going to take a look at a couple of 3-year-old races. We're going to go to the Fountain of Youth in Florida and the Risen Star Stakes at Fairgrounds, both Grade 2, both worth $400,000, both at a mile and a 16th, and both with very nice fields. Frank, let's take a look at the Risen Star first. This is a race in which Vickers in Trouble, who won the Lecomte, that's the traditional prep going into the next step of the series. He'll come back here. He drew kind of a tough outside post. And then you have a horse that I have really liked, but I'm a little concerned about his ability to carry on and get the distance, and that would be Rise Up, the impressive Delta Jackpot winner. I know you've settled on a horse in here who's coming a little bit from out of the clouds, so tell me how you see this race shaping up.
Rise Up is a horse I also like, but I'm concerned about the layoff, especially for a horse that likes to be near the lead. I just think there's going to be a lot of speed in this race, and I think he's the speed of the speed, and really with just a prep race, I would probably take him. But I think he's going to be a bit compromised by the long layoff. This is his first start this year. The horse I settled on, I hope gets in the field. I think he will. It's Emmett Park, because Bondholder, who was a nice closer himself, has scratched. But Emmett, so that should put Emmett Park in, which he should be a long shot, but he really intrigues me. His previous start at Turfway made a huge middle move, gets in the stretch and shows great competitiveness to run down a loose front runner and win that race to improve to 2 for 2. Granted, these are connections that probably a lot of people are not real familiar with.
Yeah.
The trainer has had one stakes win since 2003. He'll be looking for his second. But if you look at the Brisnet stats, he does ship well, 30% with shippers, so it's a very nice number. Emmett Park has been at Fairgrounds for 3 works, and this will be his first dirt start, but those works indicate that this horse can handle dirt. I think there's going to be a lot of speed in here to set up his late move. I like that they're going with the local jock, James Graham, who's very good off the pace as well. So there's enough. I mean, there are some things to knock about the horse. Most of this family, the mare has had 6 winners from 7 starters, but most of their success has been on turf and poly. I will grant you that. But I think this horse's odds are going to be good enough that those concerns, I see more positives at these odds than concerns. So,
that's a Bob and John Gelding, which, you see a little bit of that kind of the dirt side on that side at least.
And stretching out should help as well. So I think that's positive. So they've obviously seen this horse as a distance horse from the start. His 2 starts are at a mile. So they've known what they have in this horse. So now I think they're going to try to find out, do we really have a dirt horse that can compete?
Sure.
So, and now's the time of year to find out. If he doesn't get in the field, which I think he will at this point,
I'm pretty sure he draws in.
I will probably give Gold Hawk another try.
You and your Gold Hawk.
I did. I mean, the loose horse in the Lecomte proved to be too much for him. But I think it's going to be a more honest pace scenario this time around. And if you look before that, his speed numbers, 86, 87 on Brisnet speed numbers, that showed kind of a steady improvement, and then he regressed. But I'm blaming that loose speed that he just didn't handle real well. I think Gold Hawk bounces back here and runs a nice race.
He got a little worked up before the gate going into the Lecomte, so maybe they've had a chance to school him a little bit more, get him a little calmed down in there. Hopefully, if you watch them load before this race, look for him. If he's a little bit calmer and seems a little bit more, I guess at this point, educated, because the Lecomte, those are still some green horses that you're dealing with. I'm going to take a look at 2 in here that I am going to like down the road, and I don't know if I necessarily like them in this spot, but one would be Opportunity, who's a half to Executive Privilege. This is a horse who broke his maiden very nicely last time out for Bob Baffert, the Mike Pegram connections. Those guys, of course, great success on the Triple Crown Trail. I'm not sure if he's quite ready for this spot. He's only had 2 starts, and he comes off that maiden win going a mile January 30th. I do think that this horse has class and a lot of talent, and I will look to see him improve, and I'll be curious to see how he measures up and handles things in here. Another one that I'm taking a look at is Intense Holiday, and that is trained by Todd Pletcher, who's won 2 of the past 4 editions of this race. This horse gets Mike Smith into ride. It's kind of interesting to me. I mean, Mike doesn't typically ride the Fairgrounds, and so I'm not sure what they told him that made him want to ship all the way, but that's another one that I'm going to take a look at. But I think I'm going to stick with my boy Rise Up, just because his past 2 races were impressive. If he can handle the start off the layup, like you said, a lot of my horses, like Strong Mandate in the Southwest, you know, he really didn't need that race, and this horse probably does too. So I can't disagree with you. I really like him here, and I don't really have anybody else that I'm emphatically settling on.
I'm not going to play him here, and I suspect he'll run 3rd or 4th, and then I'll bet him back in his next race.
Well, that sounds like the clever handicapper to me. All right, moving on quickly to the Fountain of Youth. We'll just go ahead and tell you who I'm going to go with in here. I like General A-Rod. This is a tenacious horse. I use that word a lot on the show. He was so tenacious. This horse, if you look at his Gulfstream Park Derby, he kind of got headed. He was in a long duel. He just edged his rival, and that horse, Wildcat Red, is back in here again, came back and ran off with the Hutchison. A lot of questions around Wildcat Red with the sprinter's pedigree on the sire side. Can he get the distance? But if you go ahead and look at his dam side, he does have the stamina and the distance on that side. So his trainer's convinced that he's going to handle moving up and stretching out. And if he does, the way he won the Hutchison was super impressive. So if he can handle the ground, I don't think you can fault him. Who do you like in here?
I'm taking a horse that already has answered distance questions, and being by AP Indy, it's not a concern for Commissioner. I really liked his previous race where he kind of just bulled his way through to the lead, and then out battled Top Billing, who's also in here and will be well regarded in this race, in a very close race to win that by a neck. He's had steady work since then, and if you like both the two, to me what separates them here is Commissioner gets the inside post. They are both closers, but on this mile and a 16th setup, when you get caught out wide like Top Billing is with this post, even as a closer, he's going to be compromised a bit early to try to get over and get position. I think that's going to make the difference here for Commissioner. I like Commissioner to win this race.
All righty, yeah, Top Billing, Commissioner. You got a great undercard at Gulfstream Park with some horses coming back, like Normandy Invasion. He's coming back off the layup, and I believe it's the 4th that day. Also at Fairgrounds, a really nice card, as always, for Louisiana Derby Preview Day. And you have Rhea Antonia and the Rachel Alexandra Stakes, which I know you're probably going to bet against her, but I'm looking forward to seeing that race because it shapes up well with Streaming, Untappable, some others in there, and good stakes action from the Fairgrounds.
And don't forget that Barbara Fritchie was rescheduled.
That's right.
So you can watch our previous THS show. I talked with Tom Lamar yesterday. We're sticking with our picks.
Okay.
The pace scenarios changed quite a bit, but I feel like if I change my pick now, it'll only be a disaster. We're both sticking with our picks. So give that a watch again if you want to play to Barbara Fritchie this week.
Busy weekend of racing. Thanks as always for watching. Thanks to Briss for the PPs, to RacingToday.com, our sponsor. For Frank, I'm Claire. Thanks for watching the Handicapping Show.